Everyone believes the same comforting lie, that if things fall apart, if war spills into the streets, if supply lines snap, if help stops coming, you can defend your home and be safe. Bars on the windows, cameras on every corner, motion lights, signs, weapons. A house that looks ready. That lie gets people robbed. Because in collapse conditions, defended does not mean safe. It means noticed. Looting isn't chaos. It isn't random. It isn't desperation-fueled madness where people kick in doors at whim. That's the story movies tell to make collapse feel dramatic. Real looting is quieter, faster, calculated. Looters don't look for houses they can't break into. They look for houses worth breaking into. And the first thing they learn, very quickly, is how to read signals. A bright security light at night doesn't say protected. It says power. It says someone cares enough to maintain this place. It says there might be food, gear, medicine, or people worth threatening. Cameras don't scare looters when police don't respond. They tell them the house isn't abandoned. Heavy fortifications don't repel attention. They concentrate it. In a functioning society, defenses discourage crime. In a failing one, they sort targets. Think about it from the outside. You're cold. You're hungry. You don't want to fight. You want certainty. You scan a street. Most houses are dark, silent, windows broken, doors ajar, empty shells. Then there's one house that's different. Lights flicker behind curtains. Generators hum. Cameras blink. Barricades look recent. That house isn't safer. It's advertising. The first lie is believing survival is about strength. It's not. Survival is about removal from the decision tree. Looters don't want resistance. They want efficiency. They want speed, silence, and low risk. The moment your house becomes a problem to solve, it becomes a candidate. This is why the safest homes in collapse zones don't look strong. They look irrelevant. They look boring. Already searched. Already stripped. Already not worth the time. People don't break into houses because they're weak. They break into houses because they look profitable. And profitability is communicated long before a door is touched. This is the mistake that gets repeated every time society cracks. People turn their homes into statements. They think visibility equals deterrence. They think preparedness should be loud. But war doesn't reward loud. It punishes it. The goal isn't to scare looters away. That implies interaction. The goal is to never be considered. Once your home enters someone else's mental calculus, once it becomes a question, you've already lost leverage. You're betting on outcomes instead of avoiding them. In the chapters ahead, you're not going to learn how to defend your house. You're going to learn how to erase it from the map. Because when WW3 happens, the houses that survive aren't the strongest ones. They're the ones no one bothers to touch. Looters don't move like mobs. They move like accountants. Every decision is a calculation, even when people are desperate. Especially then. Hunger doesn't erase logic. It sharpens it. When consequences rise, tolerance for uncertainty drops. No one wants a fight they can't finish or noise they can't control. So looters filter. They don't scan for weakness. They scan for efficiency. From the street, a house gets evaluated in seconds. Not consciously. Not with a checklist, but the same variables always appear. Time, noise, visibility, certainty, reward. Time is the first gate. How long will this take? A locked door that opens in 10 seconds is better than an unlocked one that takes 2 minutes of fumbling. Barricades aren't scary. They're delays, and delays attract attention. The longer someone has to work, the more exposed they become. Noise comes next. What sounds will this make? Glass is loud. wood splinters, metal screams. A door that looks fragile but opens quietly is more attractive than a reinforced one that announces itself to the entire block. Noise isn't just risk, it's broadcast. Visibility follows. Who can see this? A house on a corner, a house under a streetlight, a house with reflective windows or motion lights flicking on and off. Exposure multiplies consequences. Even if no one intervenes, being seen creates memory, and memory creates retaliation. Then comes certainty. Is this worth it? An abandoned-looking house offers closure. You search it, you leave. A lived-in house carries unknowns, people, dogs, weapons, panic. Panic escalates fast. Uncertainty kills efficiency, and looters avoid it unless the reward is obvious. Finally, reward. Is there a reason to enter at all? This is where most people fail without realizing it. Signs of preparation, solar panels, reinforced doors, covered windows, generators, cameras, don't just suggest safety. They suggest resources, food, water, fuel, tools, medicine, things worth taking or forcing out of someone else. Add these variables together and patterns emerge. The houses that get hit first aren't the weakest. They're the loudest signals of value. Looters don't want to explore. They want confirmation. They want to know, before they commit, that the outcome is predictable, that nothing unexpected will happen inside. This is why broken windows deter better than barred ones, why darkness beats light, why neglect outperforms preparedness. A home that looks untouched looks valuable. A home that looks finished looks empty. This filtering process happens again and again, block by block, night after night. And once you understand it, you realize something uncomfortable. Most home defense advice is optimized for the wrong opponent. It assumes confrontation. It assumes deterrence. It assumes rules. But looters aren't looking to be scared off. They're looking to move on. They don't need to break every house. They only need to find the easiest ones. And that means survival isn't about being stronger than the next house. It's about being less interesting than it. In the next chapter, you'll learn the principle that separates homes that get tested from homes that get skipped, and why unlootable doesn't mean untouchable. It means unchosen. There's a difference between a house that can't be looted and a house that won't be. Most people prepare for the first. They harden doors, reinforce windows, add layers, add strength. That preparation assumes contact. The unlootable house is built on a different assumption. No one ever commits. Looters don't fail at the door. They quit before they touch it. This is the principle most people miss. Looting isn't about access. It's about selection. A house only becomes a target once it enters the mental shortlist. And once that happens, you're already negotiating from a weaker position. The unlootable principle is simple, but uncomfortable. You don't defend against looters. You disqualify yourself from consideration. That means abandoning the idea of dominance entirely. Strength invites testing. Testing invites escalation. Escalation creates noise, attention, and memory. Avoidance creates nothing. Think of looters like water. They don't attack rock, they flow around it. Not because rock is strong, but because it's inefficient to challenge. Water always takes the path of least resistance, least uncertainty, least cost. Your goal is not to be the strongest house on the block. Your goal is to be the least attractive path. This is where most survival advice collapses under its own ego. People want visible readiness. They want to feel in control. They want to project authority. But projection is information, and information is the currency of collapse. The more clearly your house communicates intent, defensive, occupied, prepared, the more data you give to people whose only advantage is learning faster than you. An unlootable home doesn't send clear signals. It sends conflicting ones. It looks neglected but not freshly broken into. Dark but not inviting. Accessible but unrewarding. Present but uninhabited. This ambiguity is powerful. Humans hate uncertainty when consequences are high. Faced with doubt, they move on. There is always another house, another block, another opportunity with fewer questions attached. This is why hard targets still get hit, and why soft targets often don't. Because hardness is obvious. Softness can be misleading. The unlootable principle isn't about hiding inside a bunker. It's about removing motivation. If there's no clear reward, no clean entry, no quiet path, no certainty of outcome, the calculation breaks. The looter's risk rises without compensation, and when that happens, they disengage. You don't win by outgunning them. You win by never being worth the effort. From this point on, every method builds toward one outcome, making your home feel already resolved, already done, already not part of the game. Because in collapse conditions, no one wants a puzzle. They want an exit. And the moment your house feels like a puzzle instead of a payoff, it becomes unlootable, not because it's strong, but because it's skipped. The fastest way to get looted is to look intact. Clean windows, straight fences, symmetry, order. These things signal care. Care signals value, and value attracts attention in a world where scarcity decides everything. When society collapses, maintenance becomes evidence. Looters don't assume houses are empty. They assume houses are abandoned until proven otherwise. Your job is to never provide that proof. This is where people hesitate because this method feels wrong. It goes against instinct, against pride, against the urge to protect what's yours by making it look defended. But collapse doesn't reward pride. It rewards camouflage. Looking poor doesn't mean destroying your home. It means selective neglect, controlled decay. Enough disorder to suggest the place has already been picked through, without making it inviting to enter. Start with visibility. Broken symmetry matters. One window covered, another uncovered. Curtains uneven, blinds half drawn. Perfect. Uniformity suggests presence. Imperfection suggests abandonment. Darkness matters more. Light is a promise. Even a single glow at night tells the street that someone is active, alert, and possibly stalked. In blackout conditions, light doesn't feel comforting. It feels expensive. Expensive things get tested. Silence matters too. Generators, radios, metal clatter, even routine sounds carry farther when the world goes quiet. A silent house fades into background noise. A noisy one becomes a landmark. Then there's surface condition. A door that looks scratched, dirty, or previously forced, but still secure, communicates finality. It says, nothing left here. A pristine entry says the opposite. The same applies to yards, porches, and visible storage. Chaos without freshness. Age without effort. This isn't about faking ruin. It's about removing signals of care. Care implies ownership. Ownership implies confrontation. Confrontation implies risk. Looters don't want ownership disputes. They want leftovers. Even inside the house, this principle applies. Windows should reveal nothing worth taking. No stacked supplies. No neat organization. Neatness is labor, and labor implies planning. The houses that get skipped look like they lost early. That's the illusion you're building. A place already emptied, already endured, already beneath notice. Because in collapse conditions, people aren't searching for homes to conquer. They're searching for homes to harvest. And a house that looks harvested doesn't get revisited. This method works not because it's clever, but because it aligns with how humans behave under pressure. They conserve energy. They avoid uncertainty. They move toward easy wins. By looking poor, broken, and boring, you're not inviting pity. You're denying incentive. And incentive is the only thing that gets a door tested in the first place. Next, you'll learn how to eliminate the signals that give you away even when your house looks abandoned. Because looking empty means nothing if you still sound alive. A house doesn't get found. It gets detected. Even when your home looks abandoned, 3 things betray you faster than anything else: noise, light, and patterns. These are signals. And in collapse conditions, signals are invitations. Noise travels farther than you think, especially when the background goes quiet. No traffic, no planes, no constant hum. A single metallic clatter can echo down a block and anchor someone's attention. Footsteps, moving furniture, a dropped tool, even voices carried through open air vents. Silence isn't passive. It's protective. Every sound should be treated like a flare. If it's unnecessary, it's eliminated. Soft materials replace hard ones. Fabric over metal. Padding under anything that moves. Doors that open slowly. Containers that don't rattle. You're not soundproofing. You're dampening. Light is even worse. Light at night isn't just visible, it's directional. It tells someone exactly where to look and what time you're active. In blackout conditions, light reads as wealth. It implies power sources, fuel, planning, all the things looters hope to find. That means no window glow, no reflected flicker, no accidental illumination when a curtain shifts. If light must exist, it stays low, contained, and invisible from the street. Indirect, shielded, controlled. But the most dangerous signal isn't noise or light. It's pattern. Humans are pattern detection machines. We notice rhythms without trying. A door opening every morning. A generator cycling at the same time each night. Trash moved on a schedule. Footprints appearing and disappearing. Patterns confirm life. Once life is confirmed, curiosity follows. And curiosity escalates. This is why randomness is safety. Activity happens at irregular times. Movements vary. Lights never follow a routine. Sounds never repeat on schedule. You don't create habits, you break them. Predictability is comfort in normal times. In collapse, it's exposure. Even smell matters. Cooking odors carry. Smoke lingers. Anything that announces comfort or consistency becomes a signal that something is being maintained inside. The goal isn't to live in darkness and fear, it's to exist without broadcasting. A house that looks empty but behaves alive creates cognitive dissonance. That dissonance draws attention. A house that looks empty and acts empty fades. This is how homes disappear in plain sight. Not by hiding underground, not by sealing themselves off, but by refusing to communicate. Once you remove noise, light, and pattern, your house stops being an object of interest. It becomes part of the background, a shape on the street that never resolves into a story. And in a world where everyone is searching for stories worth risking their lives over, being boring is a form of armor. Next, you'll learn why slowing people down is more effective than stopping them, and how time itself becomes a weapon when used correctly.